And this meeting is being live streamed. And good evening, everybody, and welcome, welcome. You're here for ACIM Gather for A Course of Miracles. Tonight is our regularly conscious communication group, where we talk about all different ways that you can communicate and using principles of A Course of Miracles and other things. So last week we had Yogi Chris was on our
Oh,
evening group, and it was really cool to have him. But tonight we have a really special guest, a good friend, and dear brother John Mundy. And I'm just so grateful to have you here, John. I'm going to, if you are ready, I'll just go ahead and turn the mic over to you. I'm not going to go on a big long spiel about who you are and what you know do
that's a good idea.
because we know you.
Yeah, that's right. But we can leave that out.
Yeah, really. You'll be yeah, if they don't know now, they'll know soon.
It's recorded on YouTube.
I
Okay.
beg your pardon? Oh
It's
yeah,
on YouTube.
yes. It is on YouTube.
What did, first of all, did you have anything in particular that you wanted to talk about? I mean, I have stuff I can jump into, but
No, I'm just
no.
love to hear what's going on with you and anything that you'd like to share with us. The point of this group basically is we talk about this Monday night group is talking about communication and how we communicate with our brothers and of course miracles and other things. So uh, you know anything you have on that, anything you have to say, you're welcome.
Okay.
So thank you, John, for being here with us.
Well, thank you. All right. And how long do we have, by the way? Just an hour,
An
right?
hour. Well, yeah,
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 okay, because I got an 8:30. Okay.
yeah.
Well,
So
I see a number of friends here, quite a number of friends, including people that are fairly regular in my other classes. But it's good to see all of you here. Um, so I do have some slides that I thought would be fun to go through, and some of you may have seen some of these slides before, some of them not. It really depends. So it depends on who you are and all that. So let me do a share, and let's start here. So I've been fascinated for some time now about the whole topic of dreaming because the Course in Miracles is very, very clear. It says awareness of dreaming is the real function of God's teachings. So the awareness of dreaming. So to recognize that we are dreaming and that actually we're dreaming all the time. And not only do we have our individual dream, but we have a collective dream that we're dreaming together. And I think right now, given the nature of our society and the world and the situation we're in, it's amazing that we're all a part of the same dream. And I don't want to get into politics in the sense of talking about personalities, but that's inevitable that we're kind of talking about that, what's going on another level. And in particular, the bombardment that we have of the dream because it's everywhere. And let's starting off with the fact that every one of us have got one of these things in our pockets or someplace close to us. So anything that you want, what's on the screen, you can find it and you can go down whatever alley you want to go down. And of course, on there you got TikTok and YouTube and all those opportunities. And then in addition to that, of course, we have our computers that are sitting right in front of us. So we're looking at the computer screen, and that has opened up the world to us tremendously. And just as it is at the moment I see a number of friends that I know are in Michigan and just all different kinds of places around the United States and even around the world. Once we were in a class and I was aware of the fact that there's somebody in Australia, somebody in South Africa, somebody in England, and I was here. And we were talking together as though we were sitting in the same room. Exactly. I mean, there was no even a fraction of a second of hesitation. How that's become possible is incredible, but it is. So we have this kind of connectivity that's going on, which enables us, in some sense, to dream a unified dream. So in some sense, the only way you can not dream that dream is by not participating in any of these medias, right? Television, the news, computer, cell phone, whatever it is. But the Course is asking us to become aware of the dream is the real function of God's teachers. So there's, of course, there's two dreams. There's the nighttime dream that we have, and then there's the daytime dream, and then there's the communal dream. The communal dream is what I'm talking about mostly now because that seems to dominate us. But then in addition to that, we all have our own interpretations of what's going on within the dream. And as you all know, I'm sure that you're all well enough conversed in the Course to know that chapter 21 begins with that 3 sentences, 3-word phrase, projection makes perception. So projection makes perception. So the way I see it, the way I interpret whatever it is that I'm seeing makes all the difference in the world to me. And I approach whatever I approach with a certain prejudicial point of view. I can be left or right or middle or any of the variety of extremes, ways of seeing. So let's go on with a few more slides. Hold on. Well, I don't know why they didn't advancing, wouldn't you know it? Oh gosh. Well, every once in a while this happens and I don't know why. Oh gosh.
Try arrowing up or down with your keyboard.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. And it's
Okay.
all of a sudden it arrowed a whole lot.
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Just like
So
a kid.
here we go. Here's our second one. All right. So this is from workbook lesson 82. I would not forget my function because I would remember myself. Now that's a very interesting line too, because first of all, we've all got a function. I would not forget it because I would remember myself. Now we just got through saying, right, in the previous slide, if I can go back up, the awareness of function, the awareness of dreaming is the real function. Now we're looking at it says, I would not forget my function because I would remember myself. So in the process, in other words, of remembering our function, we are also remembering our self, capital S, that's a capital S self there. We're waking up to the memory of who we really are, not as a character on the stage or a character in the dream, but in terms of the truth of who we are as the Christ, as the Son of God, daughter of God, whatever terminology you like to use. I cannot fulfill my function if I forget it. And unless I fulfill my function, I will not experience the joy that God intends for me. That's a really interesting. I will not experience the joy. So it's actually when we are seeing clearly, there's great joy in that. Because when we're seeing what's real, when we're seeing who we are in truth, when we're seeing that we're a blessed child of God, and that all we have to do is to share our love with other children of God, that's a beautiful, joyful experience, right? But now it looks like there's something wrong with the world at large, and we're disturbed by that. But that doesn't have to be true for you. So, the Course is very, very clear. It's trying to help us to get above the battlefield. So if you get above the battlefield, then what you can do is you can look at the play, you can look at the dream, you can look at the story, and you can make a very simple decision, which is, I am not going to get involved in it. I'm not going to get caught in this. I'm not going to get trapped in this. I'm not going to get engaged in gossiping, for example, about what's going on. So easy to get caught up in some kind of gossip. Somebody will start, isn't it awful, about something or other, and the next thing you know, we're kind of all joining in, talking about how terrible the world is and how awful the situation is outside of us, right? Um, so the awareness of dreaming is very, very important, all right? And now I'd like to share this with you because this is something I came up with a few months ago. And this really will take some time, but let me go through it a little bit anyhow. So it's pretty clear to me that there are a number of things that these all on the left-hand sides here, right? All of these things are real, that these things really exist as a part of reality. And all of these things that are on the right-hand columns simply do not exist at all. So let's talk about a few of them. And after this slide, I'm going to stop so that we can, or you can feel, if you want to come off mic and just interrupt me, and I don't mean interrupt me, just share anything at any time you want. Ask a question at any time. It's not like we have to raise your hand because I couldn't see if your hand, if it was raised at the moment. So we know that heaven is an eternal state. And the only way, the closest you can get to that eternity is right now. In fact, there's a line in the Course in Miracles which says, God knows you only now. God knows you right now. God knows absolutely nothing about your past because it doesn't matter. See, in traditional Christianity, God's up there like keeping score on a check somewhere, No, that's not true. Because God knows you in terms of the truth of who you are. He knows you as the son of God or the daughter of God. That's who he knows. The rest of the time he sees that, okay, you're dreaming, but so you're dreaming, but there's no reason to know the content of that dream. Think about it. Every one of us have actually several dreams every night. You may not remember any of them, but there's usually, I know last night I had at least two. I woke up and was having a dream, went back to sleep, woke up, was having another dream. Don't remember them, but I just remembered that was what was going on. And psychologists tell us that we will go through about 8 dream cycles per night. And you can have more than one dream within a dream cycle. That's incredible. And 8 billion people on the planet going through 8 dream cycles a night. That's what 8 times 8, 64 billion dreams. I mean, but then that goes out into the world as well. We're still dreaming the world. Right? So the Course is trying to get us to is to reality or to awareness of eternity, and to see the dream, to see the illusion, and to understand that the world is an illusion. It's all trust, showing us that there's just one mind here. There is no separation. There's no specialness. We never left home. We never broke away from God. The whole Adam Eve story is itself a dream. It's a mythology. It's a fantasy, if you will. You could say, well, it happened in time, but keep in mind that time is a part of the illusion. Actually, that's one of the things here that makes all these things not existent, is because they happen in time. And all these things that happen in time, and there's no time. So right there in and of itself, that's it. So the difference between abstract or mental and form is temporal. All forms, all bodies die, all suns burn out. Our sun will burn out several millions and millions of years from now. Nothing we need to be thinking about, but everything that is a form, all bodies, everything rusts, rots, decays, turns one form into another form. So only that which is real is that which is, if you will, mental. Now, I made an interesting discovery recently, and some of you may have already recognized this. When you look at the way the contemporary physicists are talking, Fritjof Capra, for many, there's so many of them, right? They're all talking about that the thing that came first isn't form, isn't materiality, but it's consciousness. That's what the consciousness came first. But actually, that's not true in terms of A Course in Miracles, because in the Course, consciousness is the divider. That's the thing that comes in, begins to divide things. And I realized that it's not using the same word in the same way. So the real word that we need to use in terms of the course then is mind. It's the mind of God. It's the mind that's abstract. It's the mind that's whole, right? We talk about the mind of God. We talk about the God is love, for example. That'd be part of the mind of God, right? But it's not, the consciousness implies awareness. That's like projection makes perception thing too. It goes to back to that kind of a connection. But the mind transcends David, thank God for David, starts the one mind foundation in recognition of the fact that there is just one of us here, one mind that we're working about. We're talking about the mind of God again, right? So that mind is alive, right? That has life. God has life and love. And one of the definitions that we have of God is love. And we have God is life. Well, if God is life and God is love, and God is eternal, this is all of what's really going on. Knowledge is also described in the Course as a part of eternity, whereas perception is separate from knowledge altogether. It's a part of this world. So, and again, as I said earlier, projection makes perception. So that's where the judgment comes in. The judgment comes in when we evaluate what we perceive. And we say it's good or it's bad or it's pretty or it's not pretty or it's ugly, whatever we come up with. So I'll finish this and then I'm going to break so we can talk. So then we have God or self, this God-self combination here. So sorry about that. And the opposite of that is ego. There's no such thing as an ego, and there's no such thing as a devil. It's impossible to do an ego. It's impossible to do the devil. There could not be an ego in heaven. I mean, that's just, it doesn't work. There's no such thing. Heaven is eternal. Heaven's reality. Even the idea of ego doesn't work. And there's no devil, obviously, right? So heaven is part of the eternal state. This world is not eternal. We know that. And then we got the spirit and soul. That's interesting. At another point, we could talk about the difference between these two words. Spirit is the main word here. And in terms of the opposite of that would be the body. And the body doesn't exist. The phrase that appears more time than any other thing is in the Course is, I am not a body, I am free. So if you're not a body, then, what are you? Who are you? Well, obviously, we're spirit. That's who that we are in truth. And then holiness versus specialness. You are, the Christ mind is holy. Specialness is, what specialness is. That this is of the ego, where we make ourselves special in one way or another. I often say, there's no doctors in heaven. There's no captains or lieutenants, there's no policemen. There's none of that kind of stuff that would make one special. There's only right-mindedness, which is correct seeing. No such thing as wrong-mindedness. The difference between create and make, the mind is creative. The mind of God is creative. We could talk about what that means, as opposed to we make them, we build houses. And of course, we're innocent. That's one of the reasons that we celebrate Christmas, is we go back and look at the birth of Jesus in the innocence of a baby, in the wholeness of a baby. And of course, there's no such thing as a war in eternity. There's only peace. The organization that's set up to publish A Course in Miracles is the foundation for inner peace. That's all that there can be. There certainly will be no war in heaven. I'm going to stop at this point, and I think that I've thrown enough stuff at you that there must be some feedback at this point. That was a lot in 15 minutes. So,
All right, John. Bob has asked a question in the chat, so I can actually see it. It says, how can we be able to differentiate between dreams and inspiration in our sleep, since the mind is always awake?
How can we distinguish between mind and inspiration? Is that what you said?
Well, I think it's like when you're awake and you have an inspiration, you
Yeah.
believe that that's really happening. If you're asleep and you're dreaming and you have an inspiration, is that really an inspiration? Is that what you're asking, Bob? I'm not
No,
sure.
the Course does say that the Holy Spirit, which is the source of inspiration, speaks to us all through the day, including in our nighttime when we're unconscious. That's just, it's there as well. So it's all, there's never a time the Holy Spirit is not present for us, whether I got our head on a pillow or we're got our eyes open and we're looking straight at the world. All right. And I think that we know that in terms of a kind of intuition, in terms of the sense of direction that we get guidance. If you just look, you know, the Course is really asking us to be very careful about when you're making, Ken Wapnick once said, and this is primary to Ken, the major teaching of the Course in Miracles is you're a choice. You're always a choice. You got a choice between, sleeping, real sleeping, or waking up. The way you choose to see things. And there's going to be times that we're making choices that feel in alignment. It feels good. It's a loving kind of decision we're making. There are other times that we know that we're going to be making decisions that we maybe would prefer not to make, that we're making out of fear, or maybe a good example would be addictions, any kind of addiction. If I'm choosing for the addiction, if I'm choosing the alcohol, the cigarette, or the food, or the anger, whatever it is that I'm choosing for, and there's something in me that says that I'd rather not, I shouldn't really do that. I should really be paying attention to that. On principle number 5 of the 50 miracles principles is miracles are habits. They should not be under conscious control. That's interesting. They should not be under conscious control. Consciously selected miracles can be misguided. Now go to 6. Principle number 6 is miracles are natural. When they don't occur, something has gone wrong. All right, so what we want to do, put 5 and 6 together, we want to have a natural habit. The natural habit is we just automatically select an alignment with the Holy Spirit and stop that insanity of choosing with the ego. And because it is insanity. It's very easy to figure out when you're insane. But you got to be willing to admit it. Yeah.
Thank you, John. Yeah, that was a beautiful answer. And Bob indicates that that did answer his question. And of course, we have, first off, because it is a dream and it is it was written long ago, every part of it.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah.
we're not making life choices about where I'm going to go and what I'm going to do and what I'm going to be when I grow up. That's already chosen, but we do have the ability to side with the Holy Spirit and listen for the inspiration, listen for the goodness, know, you know, you know, ask what is it for? If I
Yeah.
get the inspiration or thought, what is it for? Is it so that I will become a more popular person or better
Yeah.
looking, or is it for, is it going to help save the world?
Yeah. And yourself in the process.
Yeah, exactly. So that's all. It's just a choice of who I want to
Yeah.
go with. And Lynn Brooklyn has her hand up. Go ahead, hon.
Namaste, mighty companions. Oh,
And
you wanted to say something. Go ahead.
no, I'm waiting on you.
Oh, okay. I'm so glad to see you.
You too, hon.
Um, I haven't been feeling very well. And talking about a dream,
No.
I physically, but I see the purpose for it.
Oh,
Now, I had a dream last night, the first time in a long time. My father was in the dream.
oh,
And all I could sense was the strength he had. And I
hmm,
was also bleeding. And right away, I'm glad I remembered it. Purification. It's all purification.
that's right.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, miracles everyone wants, purification is necessary first. In fact, I'll show you in another slide, which you've probably already seen. You've seen how you've seen it all. An affirmation of that. Yeah. Anybody else want to comment about the first slide? I appreciate when people can come on screen if you can. You don't have to, but it's nice if you can.
Yeah, thank you.
All right,
Yeah,
well, let me go ahead and I'll present some more.
I do think that your point, the point that awareness of dreaming is the most important thing that we can do right now,
Yeah,
is because as long as we think that what's happening is really happening,
exactly.
we're going to continue to react to it like it is, and we're never going to get out of
Exactly.
this.
Right. And keep in mind, this is all going to end. And when it ends, then there will be another stage and there another scene, another set of characters, right? And whatever's going on with that particular set of characters will be a totally different phenomenon. It's also helpful to remember that all egos fail. They all crash and burn. It's inevitable. It's absolutely inevitable. That's, you go back to what, of course, the major, the most important law there is in the universe is the law of cause and effect. What goes around comes around. As you give, so do you receive. Karma, it's all gonna. It eventually comes around to what's good about that, and what's also crash and burning about that. What's good in the sense of, as I give my love, more love starts coming back. If I attack the world, then I shouldn't really be surprised the world's attacking me. It's very simple.
And
Len?
the only thing that's real about the world is the love.
Yes,
As long as that's all I'm looking at and looking for,
exactly.
then what am I worrying for?
Right. Yeah. All right.
Uh,
Len?
Go ahead, Lynn. Brooklyn.
Oh, I just want to say, sometimes Holy Spirit could work through anger also, in a way. What I found out, I have a difficult time expressing myself a lot. And when I wasn't treated right by urgent care, and they
Oh,
would give me information, and I had to call the insurance company and blah, 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 blah. They could have just told me the test wasn't ready. So, I called them up and I told them, the way you treated me, I would,
oh,
it would be like me coming to the office and coughing all over the place.
oh, Lord.
But, that got my point across.
Right.
What do you think about anger, expressing that way?
Well, just keep in mind, the course it says very clearly, honey,
Justify.
anger is never justified. Now, while anger is never justified, that doesn't mean. Ken Wapnick once said that one of the most difficult things that a Course in Miracles student can learn is how to be able to disagree with somebody else without it being an attack. Okay.
Ah,
So how do I disagree with somebody without it being an attack? That takes some talent to be able, but you can do it. It's a parent has to learn that consistently with children.
mhm.
You don't want to go around attacking your children all the time. At the same time, obviously, you need to bring some discipline into their lives. How do you discipline lovingly? It can be done so that the child is aware of the fact that you're still loving them through the process of helping them be responsible. right? Takes talent, but you can do it, right?
Thank you. Well, I was saying to her, you know what you know where I'm coming from, you know what I'm saying, and I wished her a good day. So,
Okay, that's good enough. Huh.
so it wasn't. It was. I felt the anger, but it got expressed.
Yeah, good. I would leave it alone.
Okay. Thank you.
Right.
Exactly. I was going to say that, what you were just saying, John, most Mondays we have for a while been going through uh, nonviolent communication and choose again and the release technique. We're going through all these different ways of communicating and expressing uh, so that, we can learn to have a conversation with somebody without insulting them or judging
Right.
them or I think it has been a real eye opener for a lot of people, especially if you've been a Course in Miracles student for a while, uh, to start listening to recognize how much we are not really listening to each other and how much we're judging each other when we're having just normal conversations. And
Mhm.
that's the thing,
Yeah,
to step out of that, this evaluation of the other person
right.
and, thinking that they're trying to do something or did something, just recognize they're just innocent. Which I love that Rico has asked to have that slide put up again with the opposites, that what exists and what doesn't exist.
Right.
But that's a big part of it.
That is. Okay, you mean to share a few more? I'll share a few more slides. Here and so this is another slide I put together that I think is kind of interesting to talk about. So what do we have here? We've got 3 levels, but the course is really clear that there's only, well, let's look at the 3 levels. Heaven is a perfected state. So all of these things that would be part of heaven, God, the self, oneness, perfection, eternity, enlightenment, one mind, spirit, revelation, knowledge, certainty, communication. It's interesting that you're talking about communication because that is a characteristic of heaven, and sharing and communication. That's a part of it. This is what's going on. And the mind is being governed by love. This is a quote from the Course, which says, Heaven is not a place or a condition. It's merely an awareness of perfect oneness and the knowledge that there's nothing else, nothing outside this oneness, and nothing else within. Now let's go to the bottom. And let's look what's in the bottom. So in bottom, we got space and time, and we got the earth plane. We got lower mind, body, soma, form, personality, world. This is a school. I don't know any esoteric tradition that doesn't say this is a school. The Course refers to it as a classroom, and the Course of Love does say a school. This is where time is. This is where mind would be on all these. The mind, spirit would be on all of these. Ego is here, but of course, ego is not up here at all. And in here we got the drama or the dream or the illusion, the fantasy. I don't know what this word is here. Or even how it got in there. I got to look up and see where that came from. There's a belief in hell, which is, if you look at how the whole belief in hell gets started, it's in the Old Testament in terms of God is a judge and God condemns. And the Course is so very clear that God does not condemn anything ever. That would be an impossibility for God, right? And what profited, what profited a man if he gained the whole world and lose his own soul? If you listen to the wrong voice, you have lost sight of your soul. So if the ego, drama, soap opera, space-time, if this is all that you can see, if this world is all that you can see, well, then got a pretty limited view. You're not able to see here at all. Now, I think it's interesting to talk about what comes in between here? And you might say, well, there's nothing in between, but let's just look at this for a moment. It's interesting to talk about the word soul. The spirit isn't all these. That spirit is a thing that gives us life. Soul seems to be a bit different. It's like the thing that's got a personality. You have a sweet soul, poor soul, kind soul, like it's a characteristic, right? Of the psyche, a personality, like a personality qualities. The soul would have a personality qualities. It's in time, and therefore there'd be reincarnation here. The course, it does say, that it says ultimately there's no reincarnation. This is ultimately is at the top. Ultimately, there's no reincarnation. But if you look at the near-death experiences, there's a lot of talk about life reviews and planning. And then we got samsara here with the pain, and the intellect, will and desire, mind, spirit is on all three of these. This is called the astral plane in a lot of places. The Course never, ever uses the word astral plane at all. But here's an interesting line from the Course. It says, your other life has continued without interruption and has been and always will be totally unaffected by your attempts to disassociate. So that's very interesting. Your other life. So what's your other life? Your other life is your real life, your eternal life, the life that has always been going on prior to, after, that's totally dismissed from, not a part of the dreaming at all, right? And it's always there. It's always been there. If you're an eternal being, then you're an eternal being, which means you always have been and you always are, and you right now, you're a part of the eternal being. But the fact that you got a body and you live in a world and you live in time and you live in a kind of a confusing state with all these other bodies being caught up in wars and disagreements with each other, it makes it all very, very complex and difficult to understand. Still, we want to be able to rise above this to come home again. Another word we could use up here would be home. Home is a synonym for the heaven in a lot of particular instances, right? Again, let me stop again and say, I just want to check every once in a while, be sure, because I'm throwing a lot at you. So to see if there's any feedback to what I am throwing at you. Mickey?
Yeah, in that last slide down in the bottom section, there was a word, Relafiona.
Oh, I know. I don't even know. That's a misspelling of something. I can't remember what it's about.
Oh, okay. I thought it was, I
No,
thought it was
I said
something
when
I
I
didn't
came
know about.
across that, I said, I don't know how they got in here. It might be
Okay.
Revelation. I found that I got to remember to go in and clean that. Just take it out until I remember what it was supposed to be.
Maybe religions?
Pardon?
Maybe religions?
Could be religion, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, but religion represents a form.
Right. Very
Yeah,
much in the world of form
yeah,
and
it's a
ego.
definition. Right. It's really important that A Course in Miracles is not a religion. It's a study. It's something that we do. We study this. There's no hierarchy, and I don't think there ever will be, because there's enough people working with it to know that that's not where it's supposed to go. You know, all
I
faith.
like to think of it as a practice
Yes.
as opposed to a religion.
Yeah. It's a way of thinking and being. It says on the first body, this is a course in miracles. Right. So it's like a practice. It's like any kind of, you're learning how to wake up, quite literally, right? Just like you'd learn anything else. This is a spiritual discipline. And the thing which is most crucial is that workbook. You've got to do the workbook. And you've got to do it as closely as you can to what it's asking you to do. And then I always say, once you get it done, start over. And you will find out for sure that there are things that you didn't see the first time. And then when you get done, start over. And because it's just, there will be so much more that keeps opening your eyes. That's the way the course, the chapter 1, section 2 is called Time, Revelation, and Miracles. So the way that we learn this course is by revelation, by listening to the voice of the Holy Spirit talking to us. But then you've got to be open to it. You got to be receptive to it. You got to be able to take in the ahas. I get it. But then apply it. All right. I see Karen put about the course in undoing. Yes, it is exactly. It's a course in undoing the illusion, undoing the ego, undoing the fantasy, remembering who we are. The same thing. Dana?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yep.
Hi. First, I'm sorry that you have to look at the icon instead of my picture. Really don't want to get on camera right now. I'm probably doing you guys a favor.
Okay.
But, but no, seriously, I just as everybody was talking, I just wanted to mention that I think for me, and I would not consider myself awakened, but a shift had begun to happen for
Sure.
me, I guess, in between learning the course and practicing the course. And for me, that big difference was when I stopped trying to be a good spiritual or course student. And instead, I guess in my mind's eye, just sort of got on my knees and was like, I know I'm supposed to be kind, but damn it, I don't want to be kind. Or I'm angry and I feel like I want to be angry. I don't want to forgive that person. I don't want to be considerate. I don't want to look at their point of view. It was when I allowed all of that resistance, and I'm still in the practice of doing it, obviously, but I found that things just got a lot clearer for me when I realized that it wasn't about trying to be good,
Uh-huh.
but instead looking at what in me doesn't want it and just letting it be there and welcoming it in and putting it through something like a Sedona method practice or anything to that effect. I mean, my forgiveness practice kind of changes depending on what verbiage or whatever seems to feel right at the time. I might have a few of them and just not fighting with it. And I noticed that like the first year or so that I was practicing this, it was trying to do good, trying to do what the course wanted me to do. And once I just started to let up all of the things that did not want to do any of them, was when things started to slowly shift for me. And it
Yeah.
made things a lot less painful too, because it's like, of course, I'm supposed to be in pain. I'm in my wrong mind. This is pain. That's all
Mm,
there is here is pain.
mm,
So let it just come up. I will let it, I will tell it, I will look at it. You're safe here. Terrible feeling, terrible thought, whatever it is, you're safe here. And if I can allow you to be here and allow you to feel safe, then there is something in that message that's coming back around at me and telling me I am allowed to be here and I am safe. And it's
sure.
just been very helpful for me.
Right. Wonderful. That's how it works. Anybody else? Well, oh, Rafi?
Yeah, I just wanted to go back over the cause and effect thing again,
Okay.
because ego comes from a point of view of victim. Oh, poor me, look what's happening to me. This
All
is
right.
terrible. Oh my God, what am I going to do? I mean, it's constantly doing that. It's got,
Sure.
in fact, we are cause, we are not effect. Whatever's going on out there, I projected, and in the ultimate, I projected it for my benefit so I could see if I'm going to react to it, then there's something going on in me that needs to be corrected. And if I don't react to it, I'm coming from a point of view of loving awareness. So it
Right.
becomes, when I simplify it like that, it makes everything much more clear. And then that whole victim effect thing just dissolves itself, and ego has no, can't run anything in me at that point.
Right.
I just wanted to share that.
Very good. Thank you, Rob. Very good. All right. Anybody else? Well, I can always do a few more slides, so let me go do that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, take your shot. How many times are we gonna have John Mundy here?
Let me do this, just to do a few of these.
All right, that's good. I love these slides are beautiful, by the way, John. Do you do them
Oh,
yourself?
it's a lot of fun, I'm making the slides.
They're really pretty.
Yeah, so here's the thing. In order to wake up, we've all got to go through a deep inner search process. I love this picture, by the way, of Christ in the Wilderness by Ivan Kromsky. There was a Russian painter. You can see he only lived 50 years back in the middle of the 19th century. But this is the way I picture Jesus in the world. There's no devil there, no beast with a long tail and horns and all that sort of stuff. That artists need to come up with a devil. So what's going on? The ego is the devil. It's looking inside. It's recognizing the three temptations that are put before Jesus are typical kind of temptation. For example, the last temptation. The last temptation is the devil takes him to a high mountain and says, "Look here, bow down and worship me, the ego, and all these kingdoms of the world, these can all be yours." That's the big temptation. That lion, of course, power, fame, money, physical pleasure. To whom do these things belong? Right. Well, they belong to the ego, obviously, right? And the ego is going to go out there and get all the power it can, all the money it can, and all the physical pleasure that it can. That's the way it works. But it's a very limited perspective because it's only about itself and it's only about what's happening in the world and in the body and in time. That takes us back to the beginning chart where we talk about what's real and what's not real. So you're buying into what's not real and making that most important. So what happens when we look at all of the great spiritual leaders, how they came to their awakenings, they're alone at the time it happens. Moses is in the mountains by himself when he has the burning bush experience, right? And God speaks to him, right? Buddha is sitting under the Bodhi tree, right? He's been doing it for a long time. And then he has what we call his awakening experience. Now, I think it's also interesting, you know or not, Buddha is also has three temptations by Mara. And so the devil is Mara and Mara's daughters, all right, dishonesty. They have names, right? And it's interesting how Buddha overcomes the temptations. He says, "I see you, Mara. I see you, temptation. I see you. You look like you're hiding, but you can't hide. You're trying to get my attention." Right? Just like the ego sneaks in and it thinks, "Oh, it's okay. Go ahead, do whatever you want to do. Have another drink, pour yourself or have that extra sweet thing that you probably wouldn't be good for you, whatever it is. Or be angry. Go ahead and get angry." Jesus has his 40 days and 40 nights in the wilderness, and Muhammad is in a cave. It's interesting. So this 40 days and 40 nights is really important because this is where Jesus does this really deep inner soul searching. He doesn't have a Course in Miracles. The Course in Miracles is what's going on inside his own mind as he recognizes he's got a choice. And to each of the three temptations that are put before him, he has the same response. And the response is, "Get thee behind me, Satan, get thee behind me, ego. I'm not going to buy this. I'm not going to go into it. I know he probably realized he was very powerful. He could get people's attention. He could do a lot physically within the world, but that's not, when he's standing in front of Pontius Pilate says, are you a king? He's been accused of claiming he was a king, right? Therefore, he was a threat. And Jesus says, yes, I'm a king, but not of this world. And the minute he says, I'm not of this world, he's no threat to Pilate. Pilate just wants to be the emperor of Judea. And so he washes his hands of the whole thing and lets him go. But he was a threat to the Sadducees and the Pharisees, from he was taking their energy away from them. People were in love with Jesus because I think he just radiated love. The fact that he just radiated love, you can't help but respond in love, right? And so that's why they were jealous of him. So it says the miracle is an expression of an inner awareness of Christ and the acceptance of his atonement. Principle number 44, the 50 miracles principles. So we can't go off, and you could, I guarantee you, but if you would go off and you would spend 40 days and 40 nights in isolation, somehow or another, this is what reason Trappist go into monasteries and, that sort of thing, to get really quiet, to shut out the world. Twice in my life, I've gone to visit a Trappist monastery. And what's going on, that monastery right now, I'm sure it has no TV, and no radios. It doesn't even know about all the static that is obsessing our worldly minds. All right. Rafi, I see you got your hand raised. Let me stop share again here.
It just hit me again how Moses, Buddha, Jesus, Muhammad, they weren't in those places by accident. They were divinely guided.
Yeah,
Less
right.
They told him he was going to die. He's got a heart attack. Go home. You're going to die in a couple of days. Sat in this apartment for 30 days.
Yeah.
All completely alone.
Yeah.
And discovered the truth of our infinite self. That's divine guidance. If they're divinely guided, we are divinely guided. There's no separation. There's no them and us.
That's right.
All I have to do then, is make sure that I'm in alignment with the divine guidance.
That's it.
And if I ain't fighting it, I'm one with it. So I mean, the simpler I make it for me, the more powerful it becomes.
It's actually very simple, but we don't see it that way. It looks really, really complex. The ego is very, very complex. And yet all you got to do is put the thing aside, but we're so enamored by it, so seduced by it, that we're not going to do it. That's why, thank God for the 365 lessons in the course. It very gently and slowly is leading us in the same direction that they got to just by getting quiet. That's what, do you know Yuval Noah Harari? Some of you know who know? He is the author of really several New York Times bestseller books right now, right? Sapiens and Nexus, etc. He's a professor of history at the University of Jerusalem. But he's a Buddhist. And he says that in order to maintain his sanity and to be inspired and to get what he gets and to write all that he writes, he meditates for 2 hours every day. Can you imagine an hour in the morning and an hour in the late afternoon? Can you imagine? It says to shut down the world, to shut down all that stuff. It'd be interesting. Any one of us could. We could not watch television. We could not turn on. You turn on the computer. You don't have to click on what the news is. We don't have to, but we're drunk on it. We're literally drunk on it. It's an addiction.
Well, it's the attraction to guilt. It's the attraction to death. It's the attraction
Yes.
that I
Yes.
mean, that's it. We're so fascinated on it. I mean, that's if
Right.
you are looking at the news, you're looking for, show me. I want to see this thing. And
Yeah.
honestly, we get into that state where it's we watch movies about it, television shows, and
Yeah.
not even just the news, our neighborhood, our city, spend so much time looking for guilt and
Yeah.
not recognizing that if you spent even half the time looking for love, you're going to
Mhm.
find a way different world. You're going to
That's
see a
right.
totally different world.
Yeah. Yep. So that's great if you can do that. There's no reason that says you got to click on the news. Wendy just said that she doesn't watch the news. Good for you. Why? You don't have to be seduced by that. It is a seduction. And like Lynn says, you're going to find out who's guilty. Not me. It's the other guy, right? There's a whole section in the course about this I'm going to talk about in class someday. Solid,
Sally has her hand up.
Solid, you want to talk? Share?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't really watch the news. I don't really care if I watch the news. Um, and I'm so much more peaceful that I don't. But the people around me, my
Mm,
husband, my parents, oh my God, you don't watch the news. You have to watch the news so you know what's going on. I mean, my God, and I just say, um, I don't think that my opinion matters to anybody. I mean,
there
and
you go.
if I was a world leader, it would really matter that I was up on current affairs, but I don't think the whole world will fall apart if I don't watch it.
No, it's not. Or it will or it won't.
Right,
Right.
right. That's all I wanted to say.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sally.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is that again, we're so convinced that it's real.
Yes.
And
Yes,
if you
that's the
just
main thing.
recognize this is a dream, and it's not even a nightmare. There's sometimes I just watch it and just laugh. I'm like,
Good.
how ridiculous.
Yes.
Can I believe this? It could really happen?
Yeah.
I mean, really, you have to just be strict with yourself and not let yourself fall into believing that it is real and that it can hurt you because
Yep.
it can't.
Yep. It's pretty simple that way, really. Just say no. So somebody said once, right? To any kind of addiction. Yeah, whatever the addiction is. Right.
Rafi has his hand up and then Rico. Go ahead, Rafi.
I stopped watching the news decades ago because I realized it never changed. Names change, locations change,
Yeah,
but the news never changes.
that's right.
It's always about this bad thing happened, that bad thing happened, this bad thing happened, that bad thing happened, this bad thing happened. What's the
Right.
difference what the name is? What's the difference what the location is? So
Right.
I said, this is pointing me. I'm going to sit there and watch this bring me down and then start judging them.
Yes.
What am I crazy? And I
Yes.
thought, so I just stopped doing it
Yeah, good.
and stop seeing individuals as people, which as soon as you do that, the ego mind starts judging them. This is a nice person, this isn't, and just seeing everybody as divine love. You
There you
start seeing
go.
everybody as divine love. Hello, there's nothing to change, nothing to fix, nothing to do. Then I can get to that blissful state, which I'm in every morning, where the pure joy of being.
Yeah, exactly. I like the course says being is a state in which the mind is in communication with all that there is. Just pure being. You're talking about communication then. Being is a state in which the mind's in communication with all that's real, right? It's not with the illusion. That's why on that chart with heaven and the in-between state and then earth, the top communication is the key factor in heaven. That's beautiful. somehow or another, it's the connection. I mean, why do we fall in love, right? We make some kind of connection with this other beautiful soul. And that brings us satisfaction, and then we just want more of that. Rico's got something.
Yeah, Rico, please.
Yeah, John, thanks for being here. Can I just take one quick peek at that second slide
Whatever you want.
before we go?
Yeah.
The one who is what is real and what is not real.
Yes,
Yeah. Oh, you want to see the slide again?
yes.
Yes, you'd like to see it again.
Oh, hold on a second.
Take a quick snap. No, the one before that.
There you go.
That's it, yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Uh-huh. Welcome.
Well, Don Mundy, thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us.
Well, sure. Thank you, Lynn, for doing this, and Dave, Dub, for putting it all together to start with.
Yeah, it
Oh.
is. Yeah, it's a chain, ding, 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 of
Mhm.
beautiful joy. We are the light links in the chain of love. So, so
So it's
great.
good to see you all.
Wonderful.
Robert, good to see you.
Big hugs.
Absolutely. And if anybody is listening now and would like to be on my email list and get to know whenever we're having this kind of stuff, just put your email in the chat, and I will put you on my email list. I only send out a couple of weeks, so don't think I'm gonna bombard you.
And if anybody'd like to, we are about, September is the 40th year that we've been publishing Miracles Magazine. And if you'd like a subscription to Miracles Magazine, let me know. John at miraclesmagazine.org. And it can be done. I'll give you a free subscription to start.
Absolutely, and it's a wonderful magazine. And some people that join with us publish articles in that magazine. So I have never sent one in. I don't know why, but
You don't get Miracles Magazine?
no, I've never sent of course I do.
Oh, okay.
I've never put an article in Miracles Magazine.
Oh, I see. I didn't write.
Yeah, but
Oh, you still can.
I know. All right, you guys, I love you all so much.
Okay,
Thank you
too.
so much, John Mundy.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Lynn, John, Dove.
Nice
Thank you,
meeting you
everybody.
all.
Thank you, John.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Right.
Bye.
And we will see you all tomorrow.